Welcome back, Truevenge Chronicles family, and a warm hello to new viewers. On this channel, we share revenge stories, family betrayal, and real-life lessons about respect, boundaries, and justice. Today's episode is titled, My Mother-in-Law Said I Wasn't Family Enough. The ledger changed her tone. It begins at a Sunday dinner in Cork, Ireland, where one cruel sentence tries to erase a husband from the family circle. But Callum stays calm, keeps every receipt, and follows the numbers. When the ledger opens, secrets spill, alliances shift, and the truth lands like thunder on the table. If you love satisfying payback and smart planning, you are in the right place. Sit back, breathe, and enjoy the story of the day.
The first time my mother-in-law told me I was not family enough, she said it like it was good manners. It was a wet Sunday in Cork, Ireland. The sky hung low and the streets shined with rain. My wife, Orla, and I drove to her mother's house on Sunday Hill, the tall place with iron gates and a doorbell that sounded like a chime. I am Callum Reed, 34. I work as a forensic accountant at West Bay Audit. I follow money, check records, and find the truth people try to hide. I am quiet most days because calm heads notice more. Orla is 32. She is a pediatric nurse at Mercy University Hospital. She is kind, brave at work, and softer around her family than she should be. Orla's father, Seamus O'Rourke, owned a pub near the marina called the Copper Gull. He was the sort of man who remembered your birthday and your favorite drink. Orla's mother, Deirdre O'Rourke, ran their home and the pub like a strict manager. She smiled when guests arrived, but her eyes always measured you. Her brother, Padraig, was there when we walked in. Padraig is 35, loud, restless, and always chasing the next easy win. He said he worked in events, but he was more interested in poker apps and quick bets than real work. Deirdre kissed Orla on both cheeks, then gave me a light hug that felt like a form. "You're late," she told Orla. "We were 3 minutes past 1. We hit traffic," Orla said. Deirdre's eyes slid to me. "Traffic is for people who don't plan." I carried our wine into the dining room and tried to let it go. Seamus sat in the sitting room with the match on low volume. He looked thinner than last month, and his right hand shook when he lifted his mug. "Callum," he said, and his voice warmed the room. "Good lad. Sit. I noticed a thick folder on the coffee table. Bills, by the look of it. Seamus nudged it under a magazine. Deirdre saw that move, and her mouth tightened. At the table, Deirdre served roast chicken, potatoes, and her famous bread. The bread was soft and rich. It always tasted like butter and judgment. Talk stayed safe at first. Orla's shift schedule, the weather. Padraig bragging about a big project that changed details every time he spoke. Then Deirdre brought up the pub. "We have to talk about the Gull," she said, carving chicken with neat cuts. "Suppliers are pushing. The bank is pushing. Even the tax office is pushing." Seamus cleared his throat. "We'll manage, Dee." Deirdre's gaze slid to me. "This is family business, Seamus, not outside opinions." "I'm not giving opinions," I said. "If you ever want help with the numbers, I can take a look. That's what I do." Deirdre smiled. It was the kind of smile that stayed on her mouth but not in her face. "You do numbers for strangers, Callum. That's nice. But here, we do family." "I am family," I said, keeping my voice steady. Padraig snorted, then covered it with a cough. Deirdre dabbed her mouth with a napkin. "You married into the family, yes. But you are not O'Rourke blood. There is a difference." The room went quiet. Even the forks seemed to pause. Orla's eyes flicked up to her mother, then down to her plate again. Seamus frowned. "Deirdre, enough." "It is not rude," Deirdre replied. "It is truth. Callum is Orla's husband, and I am glad she is settled. But when it comes to the Gull, to inheritance, to decisions, we keep it in the family." My chest tightened. 8 years of Sunday dinners flashed in my mind. 8 years of small jokes about my accent, my city ways, my job that was nice for paperwork, and the way I never quite belonged. "So I'm not family enough to help?" I asked. Deirdre leaned back, pleased with her control. "You can help by supporting Orla. Smile, eat, and let us handle our own." Padraig laughed. It was a sharp sound that made Orla flinch. Orla's hand found my knee under the table. A small squeeze that said, "Please don't make this worse." I wanted to push back. I wanted to ask why love needed a blood test. But I remembered what I had learned at work. When people talk, they leak truth. So I stayed quiet and listened. Deirdre kept talking as if she had not cut me at all. She talked about a loan renewal, about tight months, about how some supplier wanted cash up front now. Seamus said little and ate even less. After dinner, Seamus pulled me aside near the back door where coats hung dripping with rain. "Don't mind her," he whispered. "She gets scared and she bites." "What is she scared of?" I asked. Seamus glanced toward the sitting room. The bank, the tax man. Things she won't say out loud. Before I could ask more, Deirdre called his name, sharp and quick. Seamus straightened like he had been caught doing something wrong. On the drive home, Orla stared out the window. "She didn't mean it," she said. "She did," I answered. She said it too smoothly. Orla sighed. "Mum's under pressure. Dad's health, the pub, Padraig being useless. She takes it out on you because you're safe." "Safe," I repeated, and the word tasted bitter. That night, my phone rang. It was Seamus. "Callum," he said, and his voice sounded weaker than it had at dinner. "I need a favor. Deirdre won't like it, but I trust you." "What is it?" "I need you to look at the Gull's books," he said. "Just look. Tell me what you see. Something is off." His breath rattled in the receiver. In the background, I heard Deirdre asking who he was talking to. Seamus spoke fast. "Tomorrow, 9 a.m., before we open. Side door. Don't tell her. Please." Quick pause. Truevenge Chronicles. Are you enjoying this story so far? What do you think about my mother-in-law saying I was not family enough at her own table? Was I wrong for staying calm, or was it smart? If you were me, would you go to the pub at 9 and check the books in secret? Or would you tell Orla first and risk her warning her mother? Drop your answer below. I read the comments, and your ideas help shape future stories. If you like this suspense, hit like so more people find us. Subscribe to Truevenge Chronicles for more revenge stories, and comment where you're watching from today, city and country. Old viewers, thank you for riding with me. New viewers, welcome to the family. Your support keeps the stories coming. Now, take a deep breath, because the next scene changes everything. And share what your gut says. I did not tell Orla about Seamus's call that night. Not yet. She still hoped my patience would soften Deirdre. If I warned Orla too soon, she might mention it at work or at home, and Deirdre would shut every door. At 8:45 the next morning, I parked near the Copper Gull and walked to the side entrance. The pub smelled like lemon cleaner and old wood. Seamus stood behind the bar, moving slow, but his eyes were sharp. "You came," he said. "You asked," I replied. "Show me what you can." He slid a thick leather notebook across the counter. "This is the ledger," he whispered. "Not the one Deirdre shows the bank. The one I kept for years." The cover was worn. The pages were full of dates and columns. I opened it, and my mouth went dry. Entry after entry listed money leaving the pub under simple notes. Loan, covering loss. Again, a name repeated too often. Padraig O'Rourke. "Why is Padraig on here?" I asked. Seamus rubbed his forehead. "He gets in trouble. Deirdre pays it. Then she says it's for the pub." "Do you have statements?" I asked. Seamus hesitated, then lifted a loose floorboard behind the bar. Under it was a taped folder with papers and a yellow notice stamped with bold words. Final demand. I read the header and felt cold. "Seamus, this is from Revenue." Seamus swallowed. I thought Deirdre was sorting it. Footsteps clicked behind us. Deirdre stood in the doorway in her coat, keys in hand. Her eyes locked on the folder like it was a weapon. "Callum," she said, "step away from that." Seamus stiffened. "D?" I asked him here. "You asked him to snoop," Deirdre snapped, "because you can't stand that I handle the hard parts." "The hard parts are eating us," Seamus said, voice low. "We're in danger." Deirdre turned to me. "This is none of your business. You are not family enough to dig through our papers. The comma in the dia brongs, but there it was again. The same line, the same gate slammed in my face. I stood and kept my tone steady. This is not gossip. This is a legal problem. If Revenue freezes the account, your staff won't get paid. Suppliers stop. The pub closes. I don't need a lecture from an outsider, she said. Then Padraig wandered in, sunglasses on, yawning. His smile vanished when he saw the ledger. Give me that, he said. No, I replied. Padraig took a step toward me. It's old rubbish. Dad writes nonsense when he's stressed. It's truth, Seamus said. Deirdre raised her hand at Padraig. Enough. Callum, leave. I looked at Seamus, then back at Deirdre. I won't take your papers. I don't need to. I'm going to photograph what's here, rebuild the last year, and tell Seamus where the money went. Deirdre's face tightened. You will do no such thing. You can stop me, I said, but you'll have to call the guards. The room went silent. Deirdre's eyes flicked to Seamus. She knew he would never do that. She also knew that once I had the pattern, the truth would not care about her pride. Fine, she said, and her voice turned smooth. Take your pictures, but remember your place. I photographed the statements and the revenue notice, then set everything back exactly where I found it. Outside, my hands shook for the first time. Not from fear, but from pressure. People could lose their jobs. Seamus could lose the pub he built. Orla called while I was in the car. Mum said you broke into the goal. I didn't, I said. Your dad asked for help. Orla, there's a revenue notice. It's serious. Her breath caught. Are you sure? Yes, meet me tonight. We need to talk. That evening, Orla sat at our kitchen table with her hands wrapped around a mug. I showed her the photos, one by one. Her face drained of color. Why didn't Dad tell me? She whispered. Because he's ashamed and because your mother runs on secrets, I said. Orla, I need you with me. I need you to speak when she tries to shrink you. Orla nodded and her eyes hardened in a way I had not seen in years. I will. The next morning, Deirdre showed up at my office without warning. She walked in like she owned the place. Heels clicking, coat perfect, eyes cold. My receptionist blinked at her. Can I help you? I'm here to see Callum Reed, Deirdre said. It's family. I stood before my receptionist could panic. Deirdre, this is not the place. It is when you make it the place, she replied. She stepped into my small office and shut the door. You went into the gall. You dug through papers that do not belong to you. Seamus asked me, I said. He asked because he is weak, she snapped. Then her voice went fake sweet. Listen, Callum, I know you like to feel useful, but you are not O'Rourke blood. If you push too far, you will damage Orla's standing with her own family. I'm not pushing, I said. I'm preventing a shutdown. Deirdre leaned closer. No, you are trying to take power. You will not embarrass me. I held her gaze. The truth is not embarrassment. It is the truth. Her eyes narrowed. If you bring this to Orla, she will think you are attacking her mother. She will choose us. You know that. The threat was quiet, but it landed hard. Deirdre was betting on Orla's fear. She's my wife, I said, and she deserves facts. Deirdre's mouth twitched. Facts can be arranged. Stories can be told. Remember that. She turned and left, brushing past my desk like she was wiping it clean. That afternoon, Padraig texted me from an unknown number. It was one line. Stop digging. I did not reply. I saved it. That night, Orla went to her parents' house alone. She came back pale, rain on her jacket, anger in her eyes. Mum told me you're trying to steal the pub, Orla said. I let out a slow breath. Did you believe her? Orla shook her head. No, but she said if Dad loses the goal, it will be on you. She said you want to be the hero because you hate our family. I showed Orla the timeline I had started, the transfer labels, the notes. This is not hate, I said. This is math. Orla stared at the numbers, then looked up. If it's Mom, why would she do it? Either to hide something, I said, or to protect someone. Orla's face tightened. Padraig, most likely, I said. Orla sat down hard. For a moment, she looked like a little girl again, stuck between love and truth. Then she straightened. On Friday, she said, I'm not staying quiet. If Mum tries to say you're not family, I'll say it for you. You are my family, no matter what happens. For 2 days, I worked like I was on a case. I lined up the deposits with the withdrawals. I checked supplier names. I searched company numbers. I built a clean timeline. By Thursday night, the pattern stood out like a flare. Large transfers left the pub account twice a month. They were labeled as supplier advance, but the receiving account was not a supplier. It was Deirdre's personal account. Then, within minutes, the money moved again to an online betting site and to a loan company with ugly interest rates. Deirdre was draining the pub to cover Padereg's gambling and debt, and she was hiding it behind the word family. When I told Seamus, he went quiet on the phone. "So it's true," he said at last. "I knew something was wrong. I just didn't know it was her." "Do you want to confront her?" I asked. "Yes," he said, voice firm. "Friday night, after close, at the pub. Orla must be there." Friday came fast. At 10, the last customers left. Deirdre locked the door and drew the blinds. She set tea on the table like we were about to talk about weather. Seamus arrived with his cane and a tired face. Padraig flopped into a chair, acting bored, but his eyes kept darting to my hands. Orla sat beside me, shoulders squared. Deirdre placed a folder down. "Here," she said, "the books. Now we can stop panicking." I set Seamus's old ledger beside her folder. Then I placed my printouts on top, neat and labeled. Deirdre's smile slipped. She read the first line on the first page, and her throat worked like she could not swallow. In that moment, her tone changed. Part 2. Deirdre's fingers trembled as she slid my top page closer. Her eyes moved left to right, fast, then slower, like she was trying to change what she was seeing by staring. Padraig leaned forward. "What is that?" "Bank transfers," I said, "from the Gull account." Deirdre lifted her chin. "Those are supplier advances." I tapped the printed line with my finger. "Then why do they land in your personal account, Deirdre?" The room went still. The pub felt smaller than a closet. Orla spoke first, her voice firm. "Mum," answer him. Deirdre's mouth opened, then closed. "It's complicated." "Complicated is not the same as innocent," I said. "Here is the timeline. Twice a month, same amount range, same label, same destination." Padraig scoffed. "So what? Mum moves money around. She's managing cash flow." I looked at him. "And then she moves it to an online betting site." I flipped to the next page. "And to a loan company that charges interest like a shark bites." Padraig's face went tight. "That's not mine." Seamus's voice was rough. "It is, son. I've seen those apps on your phone." Padraig snapped. "You don't know anything." "I know enough," Seamus said, and for once he sounded like the man who used to shout orders behind this bar. "I know your mother has been covering you, and I know it's killing the pub." Deirdre slammed her palm on the table. "Stop it. All of you. This is private." "It stopped being private when Revenue sent a final demand," I said. I slid the photo of the notice forward. "They can freeze our accounts. They can close the Gull." Deirdre's cheeks flushed. "You went through my things." "I took photos of what Seamus showed me," I said. "I didn't steal. I documented. That's what I do." Orla's eyes shone with tears, but she didn't blink. "Mum, you told me Callum was trying to steal the pub. Were you lying to me?" Deirdre's voice softened. "Orla, love, I was protecting you, protecting all of us. Your father's health is fragile. Stress could finish him." Seamus shook his head. "My health is fragile because you've been lying in my face." Padraig stood up so fast his chair scraped. "This is your fault, Callum. You came in here like some detective, acting better than us." "I am not better. I am just not blind." Padraig pointed at the ledger beside me. "That book is old. It's not proof." "It is proof when it matches the bank," I said. "And it does. Look." I opened Seamus's ledger to a page from last year. The note beside Padraig's name read, "Covering the Tuesday loss again." Padraig's face went pale. Deirdre whispered, "Put that away." Orla stood. Her chair made a small thud. "No. You put this away for years. You put Dad's worry away. You put Padraig's mess away. And you put my husband away at dinner like he wasn't family." Deirdre's eyes flashed. "Don't speak to me like that in my pub." Orla lifted her chin. "It's Dad's pub too. And I'm his daughter. And Callum is my husband, which makes him my family." Seamus reached into his coat and pulled out a folded paper. "And he's more family than you think," he said. Deirdre froze. "What is that?" Seamus opened it slowly. "Power of attorney. Signed 3 months ago. It gives Callum legal authority to handle the pub finances if I'm unwell. Deirdre stared, lips trembling. You did that behind my back? I did it because you stopped showing me the bank app anymore, Seamus said. And because Callum is careful. He keeps records. He tells the truth. Padraig swore under his breath. This is insane. I slid a sheet forward. I don't want your power, I said. I want a plan. If you one of the berries in the Five Nation word, Deirdre's voice cracked. A plan to ruin me. A plan to save the gull, I corrected. If we do nothing, revenue will ruin all of us. Seamus nodded. So what's the plan, Callum? I took a breath. Step 1. We stop the bleeding. No more transfers to personal accounts. Step 2. We call an independent tax advisor tomorrow morning. Step 3. We tell revenue we're cooperating and set up a payment plan before they freeze us. Step 4. Padraig gets help and he repays what he can. Padraig barked a laugh. Repay with what? You think I have money lying around? You have a car, Orla said, sharp. You have watches. You have a flat Dad helped pay for. Sell something. Deirdre snapped. Orla, stop. No, Orla said. You stop. You told me Callum wasn't family enough. Yet you were happy to let him be your shield, your blame, and your excuse. Deirdre's shoulders sagged and the mask slipped. You don't understand, she whispered. Padraig is my son. And Seamus is your husband, I said. But you used his pub like a secret wallet. Silence spread again. Then Deirdre sat down slowly, like her legs had lost strength. Callum, she said, softer now, if this gets out, people will talk. The bank will pull the loan. The staff will leave. You'll destroy us. My voice stayed even. Deirdre, the ledger already destroyed the lie. I'm here to stop the damage from spreading. Seamus spoke like a judge. Tomorrow morning, we do what Callum says. Padraig pushed back his chair. I'm not doing this. I'm not sitting here while you all blame me. Orla pointed to the pages. You don't need us to blame you. The numbers already did. Padraig's jaw clenched. For a moment, I thought he might throw something. Instead, he stormed toward the door. Deirdre called after him, voice shaking. Padraig, come back. He didn't. The door slammed. The pub shook in the quiet that followed. Deirdre stared at me across the table. Her eyes looked older now. You won, she said, and it sounded like poison. I kept my voice even. This isn't about winning. This is about finally telling the truth. Before we jump into the fallout, let's pause for a second. How are you feeling right now? Are you shocked that the money trail points to Deirdre, or did you suspect it the moment she said I wasn't family enough? If you were sitting at this pub table, would you call revenue yourself? Or would you give Deirdre one last chance to confess and fix it quietly? Tell me what you would do, and why, in the comments. Also, what do you think about Truevenge Chronicles so far? Do you like these smart, proof-driven revenge stories? Or do you want even more drama? If you're enjoying it, hit the like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you don't miss the next episode. And please write where you're watching from today so I can greet you properly. Your support helps me keep writing longer stories like this week after week. After that pause, the room didn't relax. It tightened. Deirdre stared at my pages like they were burning. Seamus kept one hand on the old ledger, as if holding it down could hold the truth down too. You can't prove those labels are fake, Deirdre said. I can, I replied, because I called the suppliers. I slid another sheet forward. These are the real invoices. Some were paid twice. Some were not paid at all. Orla didn't raise her voice. She didn't need to. Mom, did you move pub money into your own account? Deirdre's jaw worked. I did what I had to do. For Padraig, Orla said. Padraig slammed his palm on the chair arm. Stop saying my name like I'm poison. Seamus's voice came out rough. You are not poison, son. But your choices are. Deirdre snapped. He's my son. And Callum is my husband, Orla said. You don't get to erase him and then ask him to carry your secrets. Seamus lifted the power of attorney paper again. I signed this so Callum could protect the business when I'm unwell, he said, because I couldn't trust you to show me the full picture. Deirdre's face drained. You did that behind my back. I did it for the pub, Seamus replied. And for Orla. I spoke carefully. Here's what happens now. We stop all personal transfers today. We meet a tax advisor tomorrow. We contact revenue before they freeze anything. We meet the bank with a plan, and Padraig gets help. Padraig laughed, but his eyes were scared. Help! 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 You think rehab fixes debt? Selling your toys helps debt, Orla said. So does honesty. Deirdre's voice cracked. If this gets out, people will talk. People will talk more when the pub is closed, I said. Seamus stood, slow but steady. Padraig, he said, hand over your keys. Car keys, flat keys, anything the pub paid for. You don't touch the accounts again. Padraig looked at Deirdre. She didn't move. She couldn't. At last, he threw his keys onto the table. They clattered like a verdict. The next morning, Seamus, Orla, and I sat in a small office near Grand Parade with Siobhan Kelleher, a tax advisor known for being blunt and effective. I laid out the ledger, the statements, and my timeline. Siobhan scanned everything, then nodded once. You came in time, she said. Revenue cares about two things, cooperation and control. You show both, and they usually agree to a payment plan. Seamus's shoulders dropped, like he had been holding his breath for months. That afternoon, we met the bank. The loan manager, Cioran Doyle, listened with a thin smile that said he already knew the rumor version. I kept it short and clean. What went wrong, what we stopped, what controls we put in place, and how we would pay the tax debt. Cioran tapped my checklist. 2 signatures. Daily reconciliation. Tax account separated. Supplier verification. He read. Then he looked at Seamus. This must be followed. It will, Seamus said. Cioran's eyes shifted to me. And you are? Callum Reed, I said. Forensic accountant. And family. Cioran paused, then nodded. All right. Keep it boring and honest, and the loan stays. Back at the Copper Gull, Deirdre waited behind the bar like a storm. So he runs things now? She demanded. Orla answered before I could. No. Dad owns the pub. I support him. Callum sets controls. You can still work here, Mom, but you don't get secret control anymore. Deirdre's voice rose. You're taking my role. You dropped your role, Orla said, when you chose Padraig's bets over the staff's pay. For the next 2 weeks, we rebuilt trust, one small rule at a time. Staff got clear updates. Suppliers got paid correctly. Seamus approved every payment. I set up a simple ledger system that matched the bank statements daily. It wasn't fancy. It was safe. Padraig tried to drift in one afternoon, acting casual. Seamus blocked him at the door. Not until you start treatment, he said. Padraig scoffed. You're choosing him over me. I'm choosing the pub over your addiction, Seamus replied. The words landed hard. Padraig left without a fight. 3 days later, Padraig called Orla, not Deirdre. His voice sounded small. I messed up, he said. I can't stop. Orla didn't shout. She gave him terms. You sell the car, you set up repayments, you go to treatment, and you don't ask Mom to cover you again. After a long silence, Padraig whispered, okay. Deirdre fought the new rules like they were chains. She called me an outsider. She told staff Seamus was confused. She hinted to Orla that I was controlling her. But Orla didn't bend. Each time Deirdre tried, Orla said the same thing, calm and clear. Family is what you do, not what you bleed. One Saturday, Deirdre invited us to dinner. I almost refused. Then I remembered what real revenge looks like. It isn't always shouting. Sometimes it's making the person face the truth with witnesses present. We sat at the same table where she had cut me down. Deirdre placed a new notebook in front of me. Clean pages, fresh lines. I want you to show me how to keep it properly, she said. Orla waited, eyes steady. And what about what you said? Deirdre's throat moved like she swallowed a stone. Callum, she said, careful. I was wrong to say you weren't family enough. 1,000 of them. The words were stiff, but they were words she could never take back. I don't need you to like me, I said. I need you to respect Orla's marriage. Deirdre nodded once. I do. The clearest moment of victory came at a staff meeting on a Tuesday morning. Seamus stood in front of the bar with the whole team watching, aprons on, faces worried. Deirdre stood beside him, hands clasped, and she looked like she wanted the floor to open. Seamus said, from today, only I and Orla sign payments. Callum checks the ledger daily. No one else moves money. A bartender named Lila asked, "Are we safe?" I answered, "Yes. Taxes are on a plan and the bank is staying." All eyes turned to Deirdre. She took a slow breath. "I made mistakes," she said. "I tried to fix things the wrong way. I won't do that again." It wasn't loud, but it was public, and that mattered. After the meeting, she handed me her office key without a word. That small key felt heavier than any apology she could offer. A month later, Revenue accepted the payment plan. The bank stayed. The staff kept their jobs. The copper gold stopped bleeding and started breathing again. Deirdre still worked there, but she no longer ruled it. She had to ask before she moved money. She had to explain before she acted. The ledger didn't just change her tone. It changed her power. Orla and I walked by the marina one evening, wind in our faces. She squeezed my hand. "You didn't explode," she said. "You just proved it." "That was the point," I replied. "Truth holds longer than anger." Orla smiled. "And now everyone knows you're family." Lesson 1. Keep records before you need them. Save receipts, screenshots, and dates. When someone hides behind family, facts cut through noise. A simple ledger can protect jobs, pay bills, and stop blame games. Write down what you see, not what you hope. Clear notes beat loud opinions every time. Lesson 2. Protect your marriage with a united front. If relatives attack your partner, speak up fast. Private peace that costs public respect is not peace. Agree on rules, share the facts, and refuse secret deals. A team beats a bully, even at dinner. Choose each other first, then solve. Lesson 3. Accountability is kinder than cover-ups. Hiding debt to protect someone only spreads harm. Set consequences early, get professional help, and let truth reset the rules. What would you do in my place? Share your thoughts and try one lesson this week. Thank you for staying to the end. Thanks for riding with Truevenge Chronicles all the way through this episode. What kept you here till now? The family tension, the receipts, or the final payoff? Drop it in the comments. If you love viral revenge stories, emotional family drama, smart justice, and real consequences, you belong here. Hit subscribe, tap like, and turn on notifications so you never miss a new story. Then go to the playlist section and binge more stories like this one, from betrayals to courtroom twists to workplace payback. See you in the next episode. Your next story is waiting in the playlists now.
Before you go, hit subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss the next upload. Then head to the playlists section and binge the best episodes. Family revenge, boss revenge, courtroom twists, and quiet comeback stories. If this story hit you, share it with a friend who needs courage. See you in the next Truevenge Chronicles. Like the video to boost it in the algorithm and help more viewers find these emotional, suspense-filled revenge tales. Your support keeps this channel growing, week after week, story after story together. Goodbye.